Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really powerful framework from Neville Goddard. This is all about a no-nonsense approach to manifesting your desires by completely rewiring your entire day, not just, a few minutes of it here and there.
So let's just start with the super honest question. Right off the bat, think about it. Is it an hour, maybe just a few moments before you drift off to sleep? Because this one question, it gets right to the absolute core of why this whole manifestation thing might not be clicking for you.
Yeah, because let's be real. For most of us, the daily math looks a little something like this. We might spend an hour or maybe even just a few minutes really getting into it, imagining our goal. But then for the other 23 hours, we're walking, talking, thinking, and feeling from our old identity. And that huge imbalance, well, that's the whole problem right there.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to walk you through the whole system. We'll start by diagnosing that 23-hour mistake, then we'll define the core thing you need to change, give you a daily blueprint for living in the state, tackle what to do when things go wrong, and wrap it all up with the challenge you can actually start today.
All right, first things first. Let's really dig into why that 1 hour of focus just gets totally wiped out by the other 23.
I love this slide because it's like a pie chart of your mental diet, Your consciousness is always creating, every single moment. So if 95% of your daily thoughts and assumptions are based on your old story, the lack of money, the frustration, well, guess what? That's what your reality has to reflect back to you. The scales are just tipped way too heavily against what you want.
And this leads us straight into the most crucial concept we have to tackle, and that is your default state.
So, what is your default state? Well, think of it like your mind's autopilot. It's the home base your thoughts naturally return to when you're not paying attention, when you're driving, washing the dishes, you name it. And this means the real work, the heavy lifting, isn't just in those moments of intense visualization. It's about completely reprogramming this fundamental, automatic setting.
And this chart, it just lays it out so perfectly. It's the before and after we're shooting for. See, most of us are running on an old autopilot that's set to react to problems, and it's all rooted in the past. The goal is to consciously practice a new state so relentlessly that it becomes the new default, an autopilot that operates from your fulfilled desire.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's get practical and see how you can build a daily system to maintain this new state, literally around the clock.
So we can actually break down the entire day into 4 super manageable chunks. It starts the very second your eyes open. It continues with how you manage that little voice in your head all day long, and it ends with how you deliberately program your mind right before you go to sleep.
You know that little voice in your head, your inner conversation? That thing is the engine that's creating your reality, 24/7. It's either building up the old state or building the new one. You have to consciously catch those old thoughts and just flip the script. And look, this isn't about forcing cheesy positive affirmations. Not at all. It's about thinking from the perspective of the person who already has what you want.
Okay, let's talk about the big one, the place where pretty much everyone stumbles and gives up. What on earth do you do when the world outside shows you the exact opposite of what you want?
Right, these moments, they are the test. It's like reality is constantly throwing these facts in your face. An unexpected bill shows up. A great opportunity falls through. That knee-jerk reaction is to panic, right? To fall right back into that old state of lack or fear.
But here's the move. Instead of that knee-jerk reaction, the blueprint tells us to just pause, take a breath, and you reframe the whole thing with this one powerful thought. You see the bill, you don't deny it, but internally you declare, this is just old news. It's a shadow from the past. You choose your new assumption over the facts.
So what happens if you actually do this? If you persist through those challenges, choosing your new story again and again and again, well, something really profound starts to shift.
At first, yeah, it's going to feel like work, a lot of work. You're consciously practicing a new state of being. You're constantly course-correcting your thoughts. You're returning to the feeling maybe hundreds of times a day. It takes real, conscious effort. But then, something magical happens. Eventually, the effort just disappears. It fades away. You're no longer trying to feel wealthy or trying to feel loved. You just are that person. The new state has become your natural identity, your new default setting. And that's the point where manifestation becomes effortless.
Okay, so to really kick this whole identity shift into high gear, let's get super practical. Let's turn this into an intensive 7-day challenge that you can start today.
The plan is simple, but it's not easy.
For 7 straight days, no exceptions, you are going to live as if your wish is already here. You use the full blueprint we've laid out, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. By day 7, I promise you, that new state is going to start feeling way more natural.
And please, remember this. This is so important. The goal is not perfection. You are going to fall out of the state. You're going to get distracted by life. That's a given. True mastery isn't about never falling. It's about how fast you get back up. It's about how gently and persistently you guide yourself back to that feeling every single time, with no judgment. So, at the end of the day, this isn't just some mental trick or a cute exercise. It's a conscious, deliberate decision about your fundamental identity. And that really all boils down to one powerful, final question for you to take with you. Who will you choose to become?